Not really getting a late start, but not an early start either. Broke camp. Trying to figure out what I want to do to get to town. It's only Thursday, so I've got a day or two. There's lots of options. Don't know which ones are good, so gonna get started. All right, so I've got a little bit of down. There's gonna be several miles of uphill. Leg feels way better, so it's hard to stop early or to take a zero. I think it was a good idea. Provided the leg feels good, then there's a spot that I might be able to get off trail and head back towards town in 15 miles. If it doesn't feel good, there's a spot I might be able to hitch in at 8 miles. Or if neither one of those works out, tomorrow there's another spot where I might be able to hitch into town. I'm gonna enjoy my little bit of downhill and then get ready for the up. Came down from over there. And this is US Route 58. This is the same road that comes out of Damascus. And if it wasn't Thursday morning, I might try to hitch into town from here, but it's just too early. Now I've got about 4 miles of uphill, about 2,000 foot of elevation gain. Came from down there. Going over there. Almost up there. About 80 foot left to go. That's Buzzard Rock up there. This is the view from Buzzard Rock. There's the rocks themselves. Came from over there. I'm going down over there. I expected to have cell phone service, and for a minute I had a bar that said 5G, and now it's gone again. Just wanted to let family know that my leg's feeling better. Came from over there. Buzzard Rock was over there. Going that way. A little bit flat before I get some downhill. Plenty of rocks. Came down out of the trees. Now I'm gonna head out across pastures. And there's going to be ponies.
Because the ground is...
There's a little baby. Hey, Mama, can I come through? I'm not going to mess with your baby. See? I'm not going to mess with your baby. Thank you for getting the gate. All right. Ponies and a baby. Now I'm going up that way. I've got quite a few miles of up, but it doesn't look like a lot of elevation gain. Came from over there. Going into the Lewis Fork Wilderness. Got more up, came from back there. Going on this way. The uphill hasn't been too bad generally. A couple of spots are a little bit steep. A lot of roots, a lot of rocks. The trail has been crowded. A lot of people going southbound towards Damascus. But I'm feeling pretty good, and I'm glad about that. My leg's like tender but not sore, so I'm doing all right. Still trying to figure out how I want to end today and get into Damascus over the weekend. Came from over there. I think I have a plan on what to do tonight. There's an alternate I can take that'll put me to a shelter with a bear can before dark and within reach of a road that I think I can hitch into town tomorrow. I've already gotten to see some ponies. I've got a plan and I'm going to stick to it. This is a nice looking shelter. But it's still early, so I keep on pushing. I might go check out the water source. There's the shelter. That fenced in area down there is where the water source is. Keep the ponies out. And I see a bear can over there. I don't need water that bad. I want to get a few more miles in. This is a nice change of pace from just walking in trees all the time. Being from Texas, longhorns aren't like that exotic. Still kind of cool to see the wild ones. This is a campground. Has a bear box. But the trail is back over here. And I've got miles to make. So this is where I'm going to try to cut through and get to the old orchard shelter before dark. So far the trail's been rocky, but it's been downhill and the brush has been cleared, so it's pretty easy going right now. I like big rocks. I expect I'm going to be getting some pretty views on this trail too. Might get windy. It's been getting cloudy. There's call for rain this weekend. I'm just kind of hoping it holds off till tomorrow. Came from this way. And I can't really tell where the path is going to go, but I'm going over there somewhere. Came from up there. Trail's been pretty easy going. Lots of places to camp. I'm almost back to the white blazes, but there's some neat campsites along this trail too. That's where I came from. And now I'm back to the white blaze. Gotta check out Old Orchard Shelter. Just another neat big rock that I thought maybe there'd be a good campsite in there. There's water here that's not on the guide. There's a lot of rocks around here. Going that way, almost to the shelter. I'm a little over a quarter mile from the shelter. Saw this water source. Figured I'd rather carry water a quarter mile since I don't know how easy it'll be to get to the water source at the shelter. Some of them are easy, some of them aren't. Came from that way. Here's the old orchard shelter. I see campers setting up over there. It doesn't look like anybody wants to be in the shelter. I went and said hi to the other hikers. They just like their tents. It looks like I could have the shelter to myself. I'll do it. The floor is slanted towards the front just a little bit. And I'm sure there's mice. Gonna make dinner and go to bed. Usually there's other people around the shelter, so I'll show that what I normally do when sleeping in a shelter. First I lay out my Tyvek, put everything on, just kind of, well, first thing I did was sweep out the shelter with the broom. And yes, I'm sure there's going to be mice tonight. So I will hang my backpack from this rodent hang, I'll put my food bag in the bear box down there. I lay out my sleep pad, sleeping bag. I put all the bags in the sleeping bag, try to keep it organized. Feels like it could rain tonight. That's why I'm wanting to do the shelter instead of my tent. I think I'm gonna build a little fire, make dinner, and go to bed. So I'm getting a little bit of a late start. Partially because I didn't see any reason to rush whenever I was just gonna be going to town, 2 miles to the trailhead. Young hiker out with his dad, asking for advice, so I talked with him for a while. It is rainy right now, and it started raining pretty good after midnight, and I was sleeping pretty good, except there's a lot of mice, so they didn't end up getting my gear, didn't end up messing with me. Time to get after it. Checked, my fire is out. Trail's been pretty chill. Just a couple of rocky areas. I don't know how much it's raining and how much is just dripping off the leaves. But it's been downhill, so I haven't started sweating yet. Last night, so I was getting ready for camp, a hiker I knew went by and said he was just going to go ahead and do these 2 miles, see if he could hitch into town tonight, last night. And then while I was sitting and drinking my coffee this morning, another hiker I knew went by and he looked like he was motivated. So if I get down there and they're both still there, I'll know that hitching isn't too good of an idea. I have to figure out how to get a ride, even though I don't have any cell service. I think I can use my Garmin to send a text to somebody. Anyway, pretty good start to a morning. All right, 2 miles went by pretty quick. That's State Route 603. See if I can get me a ride. Been here for about 15 minutes. Not a lot of traffic, a couple of Forest Service trucks. And then somebody just went by, rolled down the window and said something to me. All I could make out was brother at the end, but it's kind of drizzling a little bit. But again, it's only been 15 minutes. So the other 2 hikers aren't here, so they obviously got rides. And you can see there's cars here. These are like overnighters that are going to be coming down. Maybe one of them is heading towards Damascus. Here's the vendors at Damascus. It took me 1 hour to get a hitch. It was somebody that's transporting some slack packers. They've slack packed a whole bunch. And then when they dropped me off, a fellow trail name Obsessed said he was obsessed with helping people. He gave me $100 to help buy a new tent. I get surprised all the time. This is the area where more of the hiking gear is at. I saw Nemo tents. Gonna see if I can find a trekking pole tent.
It's coming out 20 years, almost to the day of your debut album, The Big Come Up, which came out on May.
So I'm looking at this tent. Price point is good. Gonna ask to see one in its packaging and make a decision. Well, I got my tent. I got my old one mailed home. And now I'm ready to head back out of town. It was just a little bit too crowded for me. So whenever I was trying to get a hitch out, it started raining pretty hard. And it seems obvious that a lot of trails or a lot of roads run into Damascus, but not a lot of people are going out the way I am. So I stopped here, ate a mushroom Swiss burger, had a fountain Diet Coke, and now I'm gonna get a shuttle out of town. But if you're coming through here, I would recommend the Seven Trails Grill. And I'm gonna go across the street here and get a shuttle back to the trail. All right, it's 4:30. I'm back to the trail. Worked out kind of neat. Ended up needing to get a shuttle. Would have been $50, but I ran into a hiker I'd met a couple days ago, so we were able to split it. Getting ready to get back on trail. Like I said, 4:30. I have an option. There's a shelter like 3.25 miles, or another one 13 miles. Or I could just pick a new tent site since I have a new tent. I'll figure out what I want to do as I get up there. Oh yeah. And I'm going to be going up. There was a rocky area up there, and I kind of went over it without realizing that was the high point of this little climb. Now I'm going to be heading downhill, about 1.25 miles from the shelter. Came down from up there. Had thought about staying here, but you notice how it kind of looks puddly. So I'm hoping the shelter's empty and in good shape. So that's Hurricane Shelter, and it was nice, but it's full of people. So I'm going to go find a campsite, and I'll just plan to walk back up here to use the privy in the morning. All right, there's the new tent. It's going to take some practice for me to figure out how to get it tight all around. Doesn't come with the floor, but I already had Tyvek. And there's more room inside than inside the Z-Pack. I'm pretty sure I'll get rain tonight, so I'll be able to figure out how well I like it. When I first went by the Appy Trails booth at Trail Days, before I'd even said I was interested in buying a tent, they gave me a stuffed sack of peanuts, which means that now I can sit by a fire and throw peanut shells into the fire. It's a favorite pastime of mine. Getting a little bit later start than usual. Woke up this morning and I could tell that it had rained, but it didn't wake me up. Fire was already, all the coals were completely out. Went up to use the privy this morning, and whenever I got out, it started to rain. So I've been trying to pack the bag from inside, and now I'm going to try to take down the tent with my backpack underneath it. And I'm hoping the sky's not very dark, that rain's not going to hold on. Got a little bit of downhill before the uphill starts. The trail is a little bit slick today. Right there, I thought I was stepping on dirt, and it was a root, just a little bit of dirt on top of it. I went down on the uninjured leg, which I guess is good. Nothing went pop, so I still feel all right. It's humid, but it's not too hot, and I'm going downhill, so I'm not sweating yet. Not a bad day. I've got a little over 1 liter of water on me, just because that's what I had left over from my water collection before camp. But after that rain that we had yesterday, I don't think water's going to be a problem, so I probably won't be carrying much. This is Comer's Creek Falls. And over here is where a bridge was removed. They said it was unsafe. Doesn't look like it's going to be hard to get across, but it also looks like a good break to take a good place to take a break. Coming from up there, heading down this way. I have a little bit of downhill. Left leg's feeling a lot better today. And the ups and downs haven't really been that bad. Some folks have said that Virginia kind of flattens out, and at least the last day or so, it has not been bad. I was expecting it to start raining by the time I got to this shelter, and I was going to stop to take a break. And it's still good, but right now it's very pleasant. A little cool breeze, humidity's a little bit easier to deal with than this morning. Been a nice day. Here's the trippy shelter with the fireplace in the back, in the middle. Would have been nice in the Smokies. It was a little bit of a hike down here. So the shelter looks very nice. I see a lot of good tenting area too, with fire pit and bear box. The guide says it's 1/10 of a mile to the shelter. I think it just says 1/10 for everything because it's a ways and it's a hike. This is something a little different. Been hiking in the trees for a long time. Came from up there, getting some water. It's about an hour and 2 miles since I left the last shelter, and it's about 8 miles to the next one. Starting to hear thunder and getting some thick clouds. So maybe I'll miss me, maybe I'll get some rain. But in that 8 miles, it'll make for a 20-mile day. And that's where I plan to go into Marion. But I think I'll stay at the shelter and head into Marion tomorrow. They say you can get a pizza delivered to the shelter, and that'd be pretty cool. Been doing some uphill, and the trail's just been really rocky for like the last half mile to a mile. Haven't been rained on yet. Keep hearing thunder. Every now and then a cloud goes between me and the sun. Not too bad. So I started coming down for real whenever I was about 5 miles from the next shelter where I want to stop my hike for the day. At that point, I had like 850 foot of up and 850 foot of down spread over 5 miles, which is not bad. Got my cool green poncho going. And it looks like I'm gonna have wet feet and dirty pants legs by the time I get there. That's all right, because in town I'm gonna do laundry, dry out, see if I can't find something like ribs to eat or something like that. 6 o'clock. Here's the partnership shelter. I'll get you a little bit more when we get closer, but there's other hikers there. I'm starting to think instead of a pizza tonight, maybe I want to see if I can get to town tonight. And that way tomorrow I can sleep in a bed. That sounds pretty great. Access to the top and a shower room that appears that it's not working right now. It's very nice. There's the visitor center. I'm going to try putting my thumb out for a little bit. If that doesn't work, I'll look and see if I can find a shuttle. Getting into town is starting to sound better and better all the time. It took 5 minutes for me to get a hitch. So this is the Travel Inn in Marion, Virginia. And I'm going to see about getting something to eat. Figured it was going to be a 0 day, whether I camped up there at the shelter and got a ride tomorrow or just went ahead and come in tonight. After tax, it was $52 a night. And it's an older property, but it seems to be clean. But tonight, or tomorrow, I'm going to be able to sleep in. Got 2 TVs, very fancy. I haven't checked out the cable and all, or the Wi-Fi, but I've got time to do that. I was planning on walking the half mile down to a grocery store and Walmart, but between this place and the Dollar Tree just right a few doors down, I've pretty much got my resupply done, and they're both right next door to the hotel.